Let's look at a common mistake I see with business development positions. If you're a professional with a subject matter expertise and you want to really increase your earning capacity, then selling is a powerful way. But there's a problem. Many of these roles I see have an inherent challenge that will not lead to your success. I'm Justin Hitt with Sustainable Wealth Secrets. So I'm not going to disclose the company or anything like that, but the job title is management consultant slash business development. The job includes two roles: consulting and sales. So the consulting is the delivery of work and includes quantitative and qualitative analysis, research, and stuff on the side of product development, but also the delivery. And after I talk to this company, the delivery of actual services inside the company. The second requirement is sales. Foster relationships with client executives and develop deeper understanding of their business, their challenges, and their growth strategies. Now, here's the challenge. If you are a selling professional, a business development professional, with the requirement to develop or generate work activity, billable hours, you can't also be delivering billable hours. And here's why. There's an inherent distraction between the talent of an individual that's necessary to close $1 million deal or a $500,000 deal and the talent necessary to actually do day-to-day work. The day-to-day project management is going to be a lot of politics. Being an individual contributor is going to have demands on your time, and that will take away from the creativity that's necessary to foster relationships with client executives. If you're out with client executives, you need to be doing work for the clients in a way that develops new opportunity. So if you're just a regular consultant and you go find a job and then you have to go deliver the job and then you got to go find the next job, there's always this ebb and flow of income because of the time consideration for the management consulting versus the business development. These are two full-time jobs. So if you see an opportunity come up where the company wants you to do both of these things and it is not customer facing, then you have a massive problem because you will get paid, but your commissions will be very low. So you won't have the upside mobility in the position that's necessary to grow the income and the wealth that's necessary for you to even think about retirement. There are elements of this description which has the production of what they call thought papers here, but really a white paper. When you're selling something that's $1 million, you have multiple decision makers. You have multiple constraints with each decision maker. You have a lot of elements that need to be considered holistically. And so white papers is a great opportunity, or writing special reports is a great opportunity to really get that positioning down so that it's digestible by the largest audience possible. Because decision makers are very busy, and when they make decisions, they want to make sure they make good decisions. So if you have a job that's writing these papers, but also performing that work, if you're actually doing an RCSA or a risk analysis or enterprise risk assessment, you're not in a position to write a paper about it. Sure, you can do the work, but if you're writing a paper about it, you won't have the persuasive elements necessary in the business development side. Now, if you're a business development professional and you're doing this work internally, you might have the selling elements, but you won't have the um, it is a rare person that's going to have both of these skills. Now, you will find people that have both of these skills, but again, they will tell you that if they're doing business development and they're out there selling and they're out there closing new accounts, that they cannot do it on their own. That's because there's no credibility in the person who wrote the paper doing the work. If you're such an expert that you can write a white paper about the importance of effective controls, and your job is to help other companies write effective controls, and you come in and you educate them on writing effective controls, and then you're doing the work, the credibility is lost because why couldn't you teach someone else how to do what you're doing and move up? See, if you're the business, if you're doing a consultative sale and you come in and you do the consultation and you develop a plan of action and then you write the proposal and then you present the proposal, there is less credibility in that than building up a report of findings, which is an expert opinion, handing it to a proposal team who then takes your plan of action or your statement of approach and turns it into a proposal. And then now you can partner with the business in getting an agreement on a proposal or a statement of work to actually close the assignment. So if you're sitting at the table and you've dug into the details and then you wrote the proposal, you can easily change the proposal. You have no leverage in the selling side of that. So the conflict, the core conflict that I'm outlining here is a job that has a contributing individual contributor element and a sales element. So if you're the salesperson who also installs the product, that's not as effective as being the salesperson who has a team who installs it. Because again, you have to sell your expertise. That's not as believable as selling the expertise of a team or selling a methodology or selling an approach or selling something that can be measured beyond you as an individual. If you establish the criteria, in this case, we're talking about risk management. If you establish the criteria for a risk and control self assessment, and then you're also executing, there's in the back of the mind of the customer that you could just change the plan because you recommended the plan, and then if the plan's difficult to implement, you could actually recommend a new plan. That's not in a regulatory and compliance environment, that's not good. That's not safe. Usually it's one team who develops the plan, another team who implements the plan, and a third party who validates the original plan, but also verifies that the plan is being implemented as it's intended. There's always a triangle, a three-legged stool instead of a two-legged stool. Now, another thing was about a lot of these roles is that when you have both consulting and sales, you're going to get a half service of either. Let me explain what that means. Somebody who's really good at sales would bring in subject matter expertise, people who are experts in their topic area. Those people who are subject matter experts are getting paid some kind of fixed wage. They're getting $150,000 a year or $100,000 a year. In order for the salesperson to overcome the rejection that comes with being in sales, to overcome the denial of opportunity when they put all this work into something and then the client, doesn't have the budget, they don't have the funding, they can't move forward today. In order to get past those obstacles, you've got to have a real hunger and desire for upward mobility. So that subject matter expert loves their topic. The selling professional or the business development person has to love the solutions they're delivering for their customers. They have to love that the customer has a success. See, a business development professional, especially when you're at half a million, million, $25 million in contract value, they need the successes of the customers to provide evidence that their organization can deliver work. Because again, these are complex activities. A subject matter expert can explain the activity and what they're doing, but they may not be able to explain why they're doing it in the language of a business decision maker. Now, a business development professional could do this. They understand both the language and the nuances of helping someone make a decision now and helping someone make the right decision for what they're doing, because right decisions overcome the known obstacles that happen when you're doing complex work. So this particular position, I notified the organization that I'm not interested in moving forward to talk any more about this position because there's this dualism in the role that's going to cause a conflict. It would be better to have subject matter experts in risk and then business development professionals who are selling risk services as separate entities, because again, it's going to be more credible to the decision maker. It's going to divide the work up so the people can focus on their skills and expertise. And even if you did find somebody who has the talent in both these areas, the design of the position is really against their interests. So in the context of the newsletter Sustainable Wealth Secrets, where we talk about how to transform active income into passive income, how to transform income into wealth, the dualism of the role, you will either fall into the secure income of the management consulting role and the excitement of solving problems, but no upside reward. So there's no commissions, there's no, uh, bonus plans are ambiguous. Or you'll settle into the business development side, and the company you're working for will be upset because you're not implementing. But on the business development side, you'll be bringing in more work, and the company won't have the mindset to backfill in the subject matter experts, the individual contributors, and the scale that is necessary to actually grow a business. And then you'll be perplexed because your commissions are not growing, and then eventually there'll be conflict designed into the role. How do we avoid these kind of challenges? Well, first off, when we're looking at our contributions, they must be uh, reflective and beneficial to each other. So, like I said, if someone's going to do consulting and sales, they need to be doing consultative sales where they're providing some kind of upfront assessment. They're writing up a report of findings, but ultimately they're handing off the proposal writing, the product development. Um, they're a consultant to those things, but they're not the individual contributor. They're not performing a quantitative analysis beyond what's necessary to get a customer to say, yes, we need an in-depth quantitative analysis. Um, but if they're doing that work internally, then they can be a subject matter expert on a stage somewhere, but there still needs to be the business development person that puts the right people in the audience, that gets the presentation in front of the right people, who asks questions that lead to a buying decision rather than a question that is educating. See, subject matter experts tend to want to educate others on their topic because they're highly passionate about it, but that's not persuasive. That could be overwhelming, and a business development person could turn it to persuasion, but ultimately it doesn't support the business development activities. Now, this kind of role could be simply um, supporting business development. I've done that a number of times where I was the technical subject matter expert and I worked with the proposal team. I did supported some dog and pony shows. I worked with the business development people, but the business development people were cultivating relationships, interacting, developing growth strategies, proposing new products and services, identifying gaps in the marketplace, identifying new opportunities in the marketplace. That is a whole different scope of work. Now, I could assist with those things from a technical perspective, but not until after years of doing that type of work did I realize it was different work. And again, that's why you should really look out for positions that are management consultant slash business developer, software engineer slash tester. When there are two roles put together like that, it will always be problems. Another thing too is if the company's so cheap they can't hire two people, two experts, and they got to hire one generalist, then there's other inherent problems with that. So when you're producing your income and you're saying, hey, look, I want some upside here. I want more consistent bonuses. I want equity in the organization. I want growth. That may not come in the technical role that you have. And there may be a requirement to transition to where money really develops in a corporation, and that is with customers, a customer facing role where you're selling. Now, not customer facing role like customer service or a different type of contributor, such as somebody doing billable hours. You want to be in the business of generating new opportunities within the context of sales. So you want to be the catalyst that gives the company reasons to hire more subject matter experts. And then when you're a business development professional, you have an unlimited supply of subject matter experts. But when you're a subject matter expert who is selling, you actually have an inherent bias as well because you don't want to uh, advocate something that conflicts with your knowledge. So if you believe the RCSA is the only way to approach a risk management situation or corporate risk and compliance, you might ignore that there are risk reductions that happen in the ISO approaches or Six Sigma approaches. There's a you start to move towards a one size fit all rather than having the flexibility. So if you want the variable income with the high end or the high opportunity for upside, then the business development role is best for you. If you are interested in actually doing the work and you've derived satisfaction from helping customers solve problems, but you don't want the pressure of like not getting paid next month because there's no new business coming in, then you want the consulting role. Do you see how this works? You can be really good at something and sell, but you can't be really good at something and do it and sell it at the same time. Now, you will, if you rely on the technical skill to close the deal, eventually be out of date because the underlying technology changes. But the business development side never goes out of date. The ability to identify challenges, develop proposals, or develop a solution, and then to uh, facilitate the customer signing on the dotted line, that is a powerful skill that works everywhere. It works whether or not you have the expertise, and it is a different kind of role. Now, you can always draw from subject matter experts, but the subject matter expert is going to get paid a salary and be lucky if they get a bonus, where the business development professional has leverage with the organization and should be getting a commission or some kind of upside tied to performance, and really could earn an unlimited amount of income, especially since they're helping to build the organization. Doing both is just a recipe for disaster. I'm Justin Hitt with Sustainable Wealth Secrets. I don't know if that was a good transition, but I'm here to help you transform your active income into wealth, usually through net worth, and also to do it in such a way that's enjoyable and fits with your unique strengths and value proposition. Um, Something that's going to help you cultivate your career rather than just settle for a career. And that's why we're talking about this today. When you might be excited about a position. I was super excited about this position, but once I started looking into the organization, it has gone cold because the the two elements here would conflict over time. Consulting and sales in the same person, unless they're doing consultative sales, will create an internal external dynamic that limits progress. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be working for somebody and then leave because it's not the role was structured incorrectly. So if you have questions about what I've covered here, you can visit us at www.sustainablewealthsecrets.com. We have a free newsletter, but we also have a membership program where we can answer a lot of your questions and really help you get to that next level. Transform that income into wealth, transform active income into passive income, develop an ecosystem that builds your prosperity. I'll see you in the next podcast. Thanks for listening.